When you think of the richest countries in history, you probably imagine today's economic giants. But the truth is far more surprising. To understand historical wealth, we need to travel through thousands of years of human civilization and see who truly dominated the global economy. Historians often compare nations using their share of the world's economic output. In other words, how much of humanity's wealth they produced at a given time. Thousands of years ago, ancient Egypt became one of the world's earliest economic superpowers, fueled by agriculture and trade along the Nile. But over long stretches of history, China often held the title of the world's largest economy thanks to its enormous population and productive farmland. For centuries, China generated an astonishing share of global economic output, sometimes approaching one-third of the entire world's economy. Ancient and medieval India was another economic giant, exporting valuable goods that were sought after across continents. Indian textiles, spices, and craftsmanship made the region one of the richest centers of trade on Earth. Here's the first surprise. For much of recorded history, China and India often ranked above every modern economic powerhouse. The Roman Empire also became extraordinarily wealthy by connecting vast territories through infrastructure, trade, and taxation. Rome's economic strength came from controlling trade networks that stretched across much of the known world. As empires rose and collapsed, economic leadership shifted between different regions and civilizations. The age of exploration dramatically changed the balance of wealth by connecting global markets for the first time. European nations accumulated enormous wealth through trade, manufacturing, and expanding overseas networks. Then came the Industrial Revolution, one of the greatest economic transformations in human history. Industrialized nations could suddenly produce goods faster and more efficiently than ever before. During the 19th century, Britain became one of the world's most economically influential nations. Eventually, the United States overtook older powers and became the largest economy in modern history. History reveals that economic leadership is rarely permanent. Wealth shifts as technology, population, and trade evolve. The richest countries weren't always the most advanced. Sometimes sheer population played a major role. Large populations can generate enormous economic output, even when income per person remains relatively modest. Comparing wealth across centuries isn't simple, but the patterns reveal how economic power continuously changes. Every economic giant eventually faced competition, disruption, or transformation. Different civilizations reached the top for different reasons: agriculture, trade, infrastructure, industry, and innovation. The biggest lesson is simple. The richest countries in history were not always the ones you'd expect. Economic power constantly shifts, and today's leaders are just one chapter in a much longer story.